So we got Department of Justice closing Pence classified documents investigation with no charges. The Justice Department National Security Division, which looked into the discovery of classified documents at the former vice president's Indiana home, informed his attorney that no charges will be filed. So if you remember back to last year in October, we had the Trump Mar-a-Lago raid happen where the FBI went to Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate and they recovered a bunch of classified documents that Trump had taken from the White House shortly after his ouster from office in 2020. Okay. And so in the following months, what we had was a few other elected officials were found to have documents in their homes as well, including Biden and Pence. Okay. And what we saw a lot of the right do was do this false equivocation of, oh, well, Pence did it and Biden did it, so it must be exactly the same as what Trump did. And if they're innocent, Trump must be innocent, right? Basically, like, our guy did it, but so did you guys, so it's all good, right? It's all good. No. Okay, that's not how the Department of Justice works. And so let's go into this here. It says Vice President Mike Pence will not be charged in the discovery of classified documents in his Indiana home, according to a letter obtained by NBC News. On Thursday, the Justice Department National Security Division informed Pence's attorney that it had closed its investigation and that based on the results of that probe, no charges will be filed against the former vice president. Pence was interviewed as a part of the DOJ's investigation, along with several aides, according to source familiar with the matter. The Justice Department declined to comment, but a DOJ official confirmed that the department had sent the letter. The timing of the investigation's ending is a relief to Pence, as he plans to announce his bid for president next week. Special counsel Jack Smith's investigation into former President Donald Trump's handling of classified documents could also be reaching a decision point on whether any charges will be filed. A Pence advisor told the NBC the former vice president and his team are pleased but not surprised by the investigation's conclusion. Earlier this year, Pence lawyers said that a small number of classified materials had been found at the former vice president's home in Indiana after the FBI discovered classified records were initially discovered at a Washington think tank President Joe Biden used after he was vice president. Okay, so let's just look at Donald Trump's reaction to this, because it really shows that the right was looking to this Pence document probe as well as the Biden document probe as a way to just completely exonerate Trump of any wrongdoing. Okay, so we got Donald Trump here saying, just announced that they are not going to bring charges against Mike Pence on the document hoax. That's great, but when am I going to be fully exonerated? I'm at least as innocent as he is. And what about Joe Biden, who's hiding at least 1,850 boxes, and some located in Chinatown, D.C.? When will the witch hunt against Trump stop? Not the best Donald Trump impersonation, I'm sure you guys have heard. But I'm not even sure you're talking about. And some located in Chinatown, D.C. I'm going to have to catch up on this one. So he says, but when am I going to be fully exonerated? I'm at least as innocent as he is. No, you're not, Trump. You're not as innocent as he is. And there's new evidence and new revelations that point exactly to how much worse Trump's mishandling of the documents was than Pence. Okay, so we got the New York Times. Recording of Trump underscores growing evidence and documents case. A conversation in which the former president is said to have acknowledged that he could not declassify a sensitive document could undercut a defense he has offered. The revelation that federal prosecutors have a recording of former President Trump discussing a highly sensitive document in his possession after he left office underscores the weight of the evidence that special counsel Jack Smith is assembling as he approaches a decision about whether to bring criminal charges. The recording, according to people briefed on its contents, captured Mr. Trump in July 21 discussing a document that he had said related to military planning for confronting Iran. During the conversation, Mr. Trump signaled his awareness of his inability to declassify the document because he had already left office, they said. If that description of the recording proves correct, and Mr. Trump's lawyers have been careful not to confirm or deny it, it would undercut one of the key defenses that Mr. Trump's advisors had offered in their effort to justify why he was allowed to hold onto some of the government's most sensitive secrets after leaving the White House. They had argued that Mr. Trump, while still in office, had declassified all the material he took with him when he left. So you got Trump saying, I can just think about the documents and they're declassified. I don't have to, there's no official process. I can just think about them. And anything I decide to take, I just think about them being declassified, and they're now declassified. If this is true, and this recording is factual, and it is in fact Trump saying that he wasn't able to share certain information about documents because it was classified, well, I thought you could just think about it and have it be declassified. So this is a gold nugget of evidence for a prosecutor, because they're going to play Trump's contradicting statements side by side next to each other for the jury, and it's going to plant a kernel of doubt in the jury in their belief of Trump's whole position that you could just think about the documents and they're declassified. So back into the article here. It would also show Mr. Trump in his own voice invoking a sensitive government document to settle a score. In this case, he was rebutting what he perceived as criticism from General Mark A. Milley, whom Mr. Trump appointed as the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. This is the precise contents of the document referred to by Mr. Trump during the recording meeting remain unclear, and it is not known when or whether the federal government recovered the document from Mr. Trump as it sought to retrieve thousands of pages of material he took with him when he moved out of the White House in violation of the Presidential Records Act. That act makes all presidential records the property of the federal government. But a recording demonstrating that he knew he had material that he had not declassified and that it touched on highly sensitive national security issues could potentially be compelling evidence that he was aware he should not have kept it, even as federal officials were stepping up their efforts to recover what he had taken from them. The federal prosecutors under Mr. Smith had been examining whether Mr. Trump, the frontrunner, obstructed the government's efforts and whether he violated other laws regarding the handling of national defense information and government documents. Okay, so if you guys want to go and read this whole article, I'll leave a link for it in the description. That's all. I'm going to stop there because I think the point is pretty clear in that these are not just two of the same thing, and oh, he did it, so I get to do it. No, okay, that's not how the law works. It's not how the DOJ works. It's not how the Presidential Records Act works, and it's not how the Espionage Act works. So, yeah, really perilous stuff here for Trump, and this could easily be considered to be his most perilous legal trouble, just because of all of the evidence that currently exists against Trump if he was to be indicted. All right. So we're going to move on here.